When you first wake up, you'll see a black and white pattern all over the place and all over the floor. When you move around and look at them, they'll make your vision a bit strange. This symbolizes the point of view in her eyes from her early childhood. She saw things differently from others. The disorder she developed was personality and schizophrenia. Around the first house, there are flowers, because she used to talk to flowers when she was a child. And because of her disorders, the flowers would talk back to her. When you enter the first house, there's a birthday cake and a present. Of course, this symbolizes her birthday. She got a doll for her birthday. The mannequins around her symbolize her imaginary friends that she would hallucinate from schizophrenia and also her personality disorder. The present was her first doll, and she would hallucinate this doll talking to her just like the flowers. Upstairs is her bedroom. She had many toys as a child, and she loved to paint. She loved her mother very much, and she had a pet dog and lived with her parents, which is why that is painted on the paintings upstairs. When you start walking in the direction of the second house, things start to get a bit ugly. As she grew up, she began to see things differently and more scary. Instead of pretty flowers that talked to her, instead they were ugly weeds. This resembles how she grew up, and as well as her disorders did. If you walked into the police station, there are tons of beehives. This resembles how she used to talk to bees as well whenever she would talk to flowers. When you enter the second house, it is a maze. This resembles how her life became a maze as she grew up as a child and struggled with the disorder she had. The signs represent running away. When you finish the maze of chairs, you'll enter a room and see all those dolls. Those resemble her toys. Because of her schizophrenia, she would hallucinate them with voices. They all turned around from you and her hallucinations. They turned their backs on her and hated her. She hallucinated this because when she was stressed out, especially as a schizophrenic, she would hallucinate bad things and as a result hurt herself, whether it be physically or mentally. So from there, she hallucinated dolls going against her as a way to hurt herself. At the time, she had no friends, and her only friends were the voices that she heard from her toys. When you turn around, there are eyes on the wall, looking at the dolls. This resembles her eyes. In those eyes, you see confusion, fear, despair, and anger, because all her dolls hate her, and it hurt. Upstairs, there is Adam, Eve, and the snake. She put this there because she grew up in the religion of Jesus Christ, and she would think that the reason why she lived so horribly in her mind is because of Eve, who she believed to be the first woman born on earth, and also the first woman to disobey God and take the apple. She believed that because of this, every woman would be punished as well as her. She believed that she is being punished with disorders, as she believed that she was born as a punishment to her mother because of the disorders she has, and how she took it out on her family many, many times. And in the basement, there is a party. All those dolls represent her imaginary friends / people and dolls she hallucinated voices from. Behind one of them, though, is an axe. The axe represents terror behind this disorder. Outside, there are dog houses buried because she killed her own dog from the stress she suffered with. The mittens that lay by the graves represent her hands because it is her hands that she used to kill the dog. On the beach, there are shoes because she felt severe depression and attempted suicide many, many times. In the third house, there are bookshelves and the doll. In this point of time, around her teenage years, the books would resemble how she would go around and read about disorders she had, and she would try to find ways to treat it. The sounds you hear from this room with the bookshelves resemble as scary screams that she would hallucinate. If you find an item it is coming from, and if you notice, the closer you get to it, the more high-pitched it gets. This resembles how every time she attempted to get closer to achievement in her studies, she got very pressured and doubtful of finding a cure. The stress made all this pressure and doubt made her screaming hallucinations worse. There is a room with journals and papers all over the floor. This resembles her diary pages and drawings. She looked at writing and journalism as a way to relieve stress. Upstairs is her room from her teenage years. The paintings displayed everywhere represent a drawing of herself. As an artist, she constantly drew herself because growing up with the disorder she had on her own and how she went against herself every time, she thought that loving herself would change that. In the fourth house, the house is messy. This resembles how messy her life became. Upstairs, she crosses everyone out because she realized that she went through all of this alone. Downstairs in the room behind the dresser stands a doll, heads, and a mannequin. This resembles her and her imaginary friends in her head went through all this, all alone. The animal houses all have dolls because it resembles how her disorders, the doll, got in the way of getting along with people. But if you notice, one house, which contains no dolls at all, resembles her best friend, who was always there for her through all of this, the only person who is close to her. His house is space-themed because in real life, her friend loves space. Well, that was definitely an interesting read, I would say. But it definitely talks about how terrifying schizophrenia is and why we should talk about it more. Because disorders are pretty scary to go through, especially if you're alone. It could push some people away, and you wouldn't want that. Especially, you don't want to go through such a terrifying disorder all alone. No one would be there for you. No one. And if you're going through that, I really hope you get better. And yeah. I know this is completely different than what I did before, but it's something new and I'm trying. And yeah. So that's it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I know this is something new, but peace out.